You're listening to the Overcome Your Limits radio show, hosted by top motivational speaker, Christopher E. Powell. We'll be bringing you thought-provoking interviews, information, and inspiration from people from all walks of life, including business, finance, education, and ordinary individuals who have conquered tremendous odds to achieve great success. Tune in regularly to get the insight, inspiration, and motivation you need to dramatically improve your life and make a difference in the lives of others. Now, here's your host, Chris Powell.
Welcome to the Overcome Your Limits radio show. I'm Chris Powell, and I'm so happy that you could join us once again for another edition of the Overcome Your Limits radio show. Please join our conversation on Facebook at facebook.com/overcomeyourlimits and on Twitter at twitter.com/overcomelimits. You also can leave your comment on our overcomeyourlimits.com website. On today's show, we will be talking about the proper mindset for entrepreneurship. Our guest today is an internationally recognized business and wealth coach who has written over 250 articles, created over 150 business and financial products, and has been a featured guest on over 500 television and radio programs. William R. Patterson is CEO of the Patterson Solution Group, a top 100 minority business enterprise. William was named Entrepreneur of the Year by African American Lifestyle magazine and a top 20 business icon by Exceptional People magazine. He is ranked as one of the top business motivational speakers in the country by Ranking.com. William is a four-time award-winning lecturer and international best-selling author who uses his trademark approach, the Patterson Solution, to coach, train, and motivate small business owners, executives, sales professionals, and investors. He has shared the stage with billionaires, presidential candidates, and Fortune 100 CEOs. He delivers solutions to millions worldwide, from individual investors and small business owners to corporate boards and CEOs. William's breakthrough book, The Patterson Son, has been translated around the world and featured in Forbes Book Club and Black Enterprise magazine. Please welcome to the Overcome Your Limits radio show, William R. Patterson. Hello, William. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. You have such a vast array of knowledge when it comes to starting businesses and also in terms of accelerating wealth for businesses. So I know our listeners are excited to have you on as a guest to share your knowledge. So I'd like to get started by asking you, would you please tell our audience more about yourself and how you got started as a entrepreneurship trainer, business, and wealth coach?
Absolutely. Well, I started out, I was originally in electrical engineering, and then I later moved into the financial arena and worked on Wall Street for a while. And one of my mentors who had left an investment banking firm that he was working for on Wall Street, he convinced me to also leave the investment banking firm where I was working to start my own business. And that's how I started a financial holding company where we would do staged investments in private businesses, similar to what you would see on Shark Tank or the European version Dragon's Den, where you had this group of investors who would do staged investments in private businesses. Well, when we were working with these different entrepreneurs, one of the things that we noticed was that a lot of entrepreneurs didn't have the skills to take their businesses from a six-figure level to a seven-figure to an eight-figure level, and they were missing some core skills. And that's how we started the Patterson Solution Group, which was based on our best-selling book, The Patterson Son, where we taught entrepreneurs and investors how they could begin to scale the businesses and the investments that they were making. And from there, we've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs all over the world and helping them successfully grow their businesses and begin to use those businesses as a wealth-building vehicle.
Wow, that's very powerful. When you coined the phrase Patterson, you've used it with your book, your website, and your company. Could you explain to our listeners exactly what is a Baron and why was it so important for you to have this name in your business model?
Well, in our book, which was titled The Baron's Son, it was about a boy who, through the lessons and insights of his father, as well as a mentor, learned to become a great force within business. So as we use the term Baron, it's about a person who's able to take an idea and use that idea to dominate an industry or a niche and use that to create a legacy for future generations. So that's what Baron is about for us, is being able to tap into your great idea, your multi-million-dollar idea, and use that idea to change the world. And for us, this concept of being a Baron, it's about more than just how do you earn a few more dollars a month or how do you become a millionaire. It's really more about how do you dominate an industry and create that legacy.
So no matter what your passion is, you can create a niche for that passion and turn that into a business. Wonderful advice and knowledge. So why would you say that nearly everyone should own a small or home-based business?
We're big fans of entrepreneurship for quite a few reasons. Number one, as we saw with the Great Recession that recently happened between 2007 and 2010, where a lot of people lost their jobs and we saw unemployment highs, it's really important for a person to move away from a one-to-one relationship with money where they're trading their time for money. And that's for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's only so much money you can make when you trade your time for money because you are your income source. If you stop working, so does your income. Well, the next thing that you want to do is to look for ways in which you can create a business where you can generate multiple streams of income. And those multiple streams of income will allow you to own your time. So you can create something once and sell it infinitely, whether that's a product or a service where you bring in other people to run parts of the business and you provide this service where you perfect the service once and you can sell it over and over and over again. So by leveraging your time, it becomes a wealth-building accelerator for you. So you can actually build wealth faster by having multiple streams of income and leveraging systems to do so. The other reason that it makes sense, there are a lot of great tax advantages to having a smaller home-based business, so you're able to write off a lot of things. In addition to the income side, there are a lot of great deductions that are available to you, and if you happen to be working a job while you're running a smaller home-based business, then you can work with your accountant to adjust your withholdings to immediately increase your income. So those are just a few of the reasons why it makes sense for a lot of people to have a smaller home-based business.
Wonderful, wonderful advice. You identified 7 characteristics of millionaire entrepreneurs. Would you explain what they are and how our listeners can profit by them?
Well, in our work with thousands of entrepreneurs across the U.S. and abroad, we found that there are 7 characteristics of the most successful of these entrepreneurs. And the first is character. These are individuals who have a strong ethical and moral compass, and they believe in creating value and benefit for people, and they believe in an ethical roadmap, so to speak, as we teach in the Baron Solution, this ethical roadmap to wealth, power, success. Character, that's the foundational element of all of these great companies. You'll never be successful in getting people to follow you if you're not a person of strong character. The second is vision. And we really look at those entrepreneurs who have a strong vision, the ability to perceive a market opportunity and bring structure to that opportunity. Those are the entrepreneurs that tend to do extremely well over the long term. Those individuals who can see the market changing and they can see those market trends and capitalize them. So the first is character, the second is vision. The third is competence. It's important for that entrepreneur to be very competent and knowledgeable about the core part of their business, those core competencies within their business. It is important to have that level of competence in order for your staff and your team to be confident in you, in order for your customers and clients to believe that you have the credibility and capacity to deliver the solutions that you say as a part of your brand promise or as a part of your business. So competence is number 3. Number 4 is will. Of course, we all know, Chris, in business there are a lot of ups and downs, and it is having that strong will, or as you like to put it, the will to win. Having that will to win is a core component of being able to persevere through economic challenges and ups and downs with any market. Number 5 is value, and it's important that a CEO, or it's important that an entrepreneur be very clear about the things that they value, and they instill that in the people that they work with, as well as communicate and instill that in the people that they work with in terms of their teams, because having everyone on the same page with regard to what is valued within the organization, within the culture, allows everyone to focus and really come together as a unit and a team, and to experience that synergy to rise to a privileged level of distinction. So values is number 5. Number 6 is associations. We always say that 80% of your success will be the result of your soft skills, your ability to form these mentoring relationships, political alliances, strategic partnerships, and that your network is a direct reflection of your net worth. So associations is another big part. We found that many of the most successful entrepreneurs work very hard on building their network. And then number 7 are what we would call the successes. The successes are those small successes that have given that entrepreneur the confidence to lead their teams and lead their companies to higher heights and to break through those business glass ceilings and other barriers that they may experience. So having some successes, which often come through experiencing quite a few failures, is another key component. So number 1 is character, number 2 is vision, number 3 is competence, number 4 is will, number 5 is values, and 6 and 7 are the associations and successes. And we found that the first 5 are the most critical, and number 6, the associations and the successes, really just serve to gauge how mature that entrepreneur is when it comes to business. And if you're talking about making an investment, we found that the more mature that entrepreneur is, the lower the risk of monetary loss. So as that successful entrepreneur who possesses those first 5 traits begins to gain more experience, he's going to build more associations and a stronger network, and he's also going to experience greater successes. So those are the key points.
Wonderful, wonderful advice. I think one of the key main points with what you said was, no matter what stage, these entrepreneurs had the will to win, and they never gave up despite the obstacles. And I think that's so important for our listeners to understand, is that everybody has their challenges, but the ones that really want to succeed persevere through those challenges until they can get what they desire. So excellent point, William, and excellent knowledge that you're sharing with our listeners. But what advice do you have for small business owners and emerging entrepreneurs who may be fearful to venture out due to the economy or fear of failing?
One of the best pieces of advice that I always give people, and it's the piece of advice that has helped me to achieve success in a very short period of time, and that is, do not reinvent the wheel. Build a team of coaches, mentors, and advisors. I'll repeat that. Do not reinvent the wheel. Build a team of coaches, mentors, and advisors. Those coaches, mentors, and advisors will help you to tap into accelerators and business networks and other systems and resources that can help you achieve your goal a lot faster. So it can also give you the confidence that you need to go out there and believe in your vision and really work the vision and see the kind of results that you want. And we do differentiate between mentors, coaches, and advisors. A mentor is a person who may be in a position that you would like to see yourself in one day, but how they got there may not necessarily be repeatable or duplicable from where you are, meaning that that mentor may have started with millions of dollars. They may have had a very strong network. They may have gone to an Ivy League school, and it may not be the same case for you. Whereas a coach can help you formulate a plan from where you are to get from where you are to where you'd like to be based on your specific circumstances. So that's why a coach is really important, to give you that game plan and help you surround yourself with a team that can help you win. And with regard to advisors, advisors tend to have a very specific set of knowledge that can be helpful for you. For instance, you may have a tax attorney who's very good at providing tax advice, but that tax attorney may not understand asset protection, they may not understand estate planning, and they may not understand the investment consequences with regard to the rate of return that certain business decisions or business recommendations that they make, the impact on those other areas. So that's why it is important for you to maintain that total picture and to have this team of coaches, mentors, and advisors, so that you do have that complete 360 view of your business.
Well, I must say, William, you have been a mentor and a coach for me with our projects that we've been working on together. So I know the value of having a coach and a mentor. Wonderful, wonderful advice. But which kind of leads to my next question is, how are you able to get major corporations, celebrities, presidential candidates, millionaires, and even billionaires to partner with you when you first were getting started?
Well, Chris, that's a great question, and what I'm often asked. A lot of people wonder, is it possible for them to also build a multi-million-dollar network? And I say absolutely, it's possible. One of the things that I encourage people to do is to formulate a networking plan. And your networking plan is more important than any business or financial plan you will ever create. And I know that may sound odd for a wealth and business coach to say that a networking plan is more important than any financial or business plan. But again, 80% of your success will be the result of your soft skills, your ability to form these mentoring relationships, strategic partnerships, political alliances, etc. It's developing that networking plan. And when you create your networking plan, what you want to do is identify perhaps 5 to 10 people that you want to build relationships with over the next 12 to 18 months. And when we say build relationships, again, it's not just I made a call or I got introduced to this person, but you actually want to build a relationship so that when you may need things, you can call on that person and they're willing to help you. Or when they need things, you're in a position to help them. So that is important, is to be able to build relationships with these people. And when you're thinking about your network, people generally fall into a couple of buckets. You first have the visionary leaders. Next, you have the early adopters. And then you have the followers. When you're focused on building relationships, look first for those visionary leaders. And the visionary leaders are the people on the cutting edge who are always introducing new products, services, programs, and companies. And when you read their bios, it reads like that. So you'll start to see that this person launched this business, created this company, created this product. They are the innovators in the space. And if you find those visionary leaders and you're able to get support from them early on, then they can give you a great deal of support with the media as well. For instance, when we were launching our book, The Baron's Son, the first person that endorsed our book was billionaire Bob Johnson, who created Black Entertainment Television. So when you have a person like that, it's a lot easier to get support from the media, and it's a lot easier to get other people on board once you have that kind of visionary leader attached to your product, your program, or your company. The next thing you want to do is to look at those early adopters. And those early adopters are the people who typically are the key influences and the opinion molders. They have a bit of a following, people who look to them because they're always the people who are the first to break the news of new products, programs, services, etc. So you want to look for those people who are, again, the kind of the news breakers, so to speak, and to begin to build relationships with them. And then that way, when you have something new that you want to share, they can push that out to a lot of people. Don't focus so much on the followers because they're going to need social proof early on before they jump on board. So focus first on the early adopters and the visionary leaders. Now, the way in which you can get people to help you if you don't have the resources, the financial resources to pay them up front, you can look for ways in which you can, number one, create a revenue opportunity for them, two, create a positive PR opportunity for them, and particularly if you have people where money really wouldn't be a factor or you just wouldn't have enough money to pay them, create some kind of PR opportunity for them. Or also look for ways in which you can support perhaps their favorite cause or charity. Or lastly, connect them with other influential people in your network. So as you expand your network, just because you have a bigger network, that also increases your value. And then the last great tip for people is to look to start things like media properties, your own television show, radio show. Even if it's an internet radio show or a public access television show, these things can, if you push them forward, can end up helping you to build a mailing list or a following of tens of thousands or even millions of people. So these are some great tips that can help a person get started and build their own multi-million-dollar network.
Oh, definitely. Relationships are very important. Networking, finding ways of connecting with people that have more knowledge or that are king in their field that may be willing to help you. It's wonderful advice and really great tips on the Overcome Your Limits radio show. But now, I'd like to ask, would you give our listeners some tips on how they can find funding to start or grow the business or nonprofit organization?
Absolutely. There are billions of dollars in funding available for people to start and grow their businesses. That funding tends to fall into a couple of buckets, and you do have to position your business a certain way in order to get this type of funding. But with regard to the funding opportunities, you have private investment. You also have business loans and trade lines of credit or business credit. You have, and this business credit doesn't necessarily require a personal guarantee. So if you're concerned that you have some personal credit challenges, you can develop, if you form a business as a separate entity like a corporation or a limited liability company, you can develop business credit in the name of that business. And again, we do have some free resources on our website, which is BaronSeries.com, which show you how to build business credit. You have things like corporate sponsorship, where you can approach corporations and they can donate either products, services, or cash to your business, or they can sponsor you to go and produce your own television show or radio show. So there are a lot of great ways in which you can leverage corporate sponsorship to achieve your business goals as well. You have foundation grants. A great source for foundation grants is Foundation Center, and they have a 24-hour free trial where you can go on and you can look at different foundation grants that you may qualify for. There also is Grant Station, which is another great source for foundation grants. You have government grants, and the source for government grants would be grants.gov. There are about 26 federal grant-making agencies that are giving away billions of dollars to different businesses and nonprofit organizations, so government grants are also a great source. And then lastly, I would tell people to look at strategic partnerships. So you have to ask yourself, do you need the money or do you need what the money can get you? So again, you can work with different organizations and different companies to barter services or do product and service exchanges where they can give you the things that you need, whether it's equipment, whether it's certain services. These are all ways in which you can leverage other people to help you build wealth and grow your businesses if you don't have the financing up front or if you're just getting started.
There are always ways of finding money besides just having cold hard cash. But I have a couple more questions with the little time that we have. What are some strategies that can help individuals diversify and create more reliable income streams during these uncertain economic times?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of the key things that you want to do is to move away from a one-to-one relationship with money where you are trading your time for money and begin to move more toward what we would call continuity programs where you create a product or a service once that people pay for on a regular basis, similar to how you have your cable service or your phone service and you pay that monthly bill. So you want to look at, as you're developing your businesses and developing your programs, how you can build in a continuity model, which might include licensing products from you, or it might include access to a membership site or membership program where you're regularly updating things that are part of a membership site and people are paying a monthly membership fee. And this gives you more what we call earnings predictability and earnings visibility, where you have a more realistic gauge as to how much money you're going to generate on a consistent basis. So I would encourage people strongly to look at the membership models, the subscription models, and the licensing models and building those into their businesses as a way to create more predictable income.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's so many ways you get things done. It's just thinking outside the box, as I mentioned. And an incredible wealth of information given by Wim Patterson, CEO of the Brand Solution Group. And Wim, how can people find out more about you and the Brand Solution Group wealth coaching and entrepreneurship training programs?
They can visit us online at BaronSeries.com, and I'll spell that for people. It's BARON, Series, SERIES.com. And just by visiting the website, they can receive over $500 in different bonus gifts. And we have hundreds of hours in audio training and even video training on a lot of the different topics that we talked about, such as fundraising, getting started, as well as things like building your network. And, of course, they can always call us toll-free at 888-90-BARON. That's 888-90-BARON. And we'd be happy to give them a free consultation on different ways in which we can help and tell them more about our program.
Well, William, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Overcome Your Limits radio show. I know you have an incredible wealth of knowledge and been such an incredible mentor and coach for me. So I advise my listeners to take heed of William's knowledge. And if you have that great idea, feel free to get in contact with William or Patterson. But William, I'd like to thank you again for your time, and we would love to have you again on the show to spread your incredible wealth of knowledge and expertise. We really appreciate you taking your time and speaking to us on the Overcome Your Limits radio show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. It was a pleasure to be with you, and I definitely look forward to being back.
Take care, William.
Thank you for listening to the Overcome Your Limits radio show with motivational speaker Christopher E. Powell. Tune in regularly to get the insight, inspiration, and motivation you need to dramatically improve your life and make a difference in the lives of others. We encourage you to continue the conversation online and let us know your thoughts at overcomeyourlimits.com, as well as to sign up for our newsletter. Until next time, in the words of Chris Powell, when you possess the will to win, there are no limits that you can't overcome.